Khalil Dewan joins me in the studio here in Istanbul. He is a researcher at TRT World Research Centre. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
So we're reporting two attacks today. Distinguish between those two, because the Houthis are only claiming responsibility for one.
Yes, indeed. So what we have seen is that the Houthi armed group have claimed responsibility for the attack in Boreika district, which is in Aden, where there was a military parade by the UAE-backed forces. And we can just be suspicious about this, first of all, because we have seen on many occasions the Houthi armed group have claimed via their propaganda wing that they have conducted strikes and ballistic missiles, including armed drones. In this occasion, we have the Qasif 2K. However, if you look at original reports of this parade attack, first of all, there was initial reporting of a blast. Now, if there was a blast, it wouldn't necessarily be a strike nor a ballistic missile. So at the moment in time, I'll be very wary to say that the Houthis were actually responsible for this. But in saying that, they indeed do have the capabilities. They have been striking Saudi Arabia in Yanbu province, where Saudi Aramco is, the oil maker. So we shouldn't be surprised. And they have also claimed last year an attack on UAE's airport.
Right.
With regards to the second attack we have in Aden, again, on a police station in the early hours of the morning, some reports claim that 10 officers were killed. This is something which is not of a design by the Houthi armed group. From my initial assessment, I think it's perhaps Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula or Islamic State in Yemen. They haven't said anything yet on their Telegram or open source networks. And this is something not out of the ordinary. For the last year, or at least 8 months, Al-Qaeda have been very slow in their propaganda, including IS. So we still have to wait and see what's happening on this developing story.
Right, but they are there. It's a presence that we don't talk about very often, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, but they are very much complicating this conflict as well. But I'd like to ask about the Houthis. As we saw the journalist earlier kind of playing this to say it actually shows that the Houthis are winning this war. Are they? And I mean, are we expecting as well something then in terms of retaliation?
There is definitely a stalemate at hand right now, and I think the Houthis are definitely putting pressure on UAE. 90,000 UAE-backed forces will remain in UAE, particularly southern Yemen. And I think it's an important point to make that UAE were never really interested in northern Yemen, where the Houthis were. However, in all of this, in the equation, Saudi Arabia has been very silent. I'm not sure whether that's to do with behind-the-scene negotiations with regards to a peace plan. However, UAE, I believe this is an attempt to reel them back in to the conflict. And a stark point to make is that the Houthi armed group and the military spokesperson this morning did claim that they are going after the security belt forces, which is a UAE-backed force. The reason for this diversion is unclear, but it definitely has something to do with their withdrawal. And the third aspect of my analysis, I think, is that perhaps there may be a disenfranchised armed group within the West Coast. As a result of the withdrawal, they feel disenfranchised from a lack of support, and as a result, they're going after UAE. It's very unclear right now. Open source researchers are monitoring everything, and I'm sure this development story will...
Very quickly, I mean, it's such a complicated picture, but just how far is this conflict from being resolved?
I would say we are towards the beginning of the end. And whenever there is a peace talk, all sides of the conflict will be increasing their hostilities. And I think this is really putting pressure on all sides. And I think UAE, when they are trying to opportunistically withdraw, actually, they're very far from it, and they're very much involved in the south.
Okay. Khalil Dewan, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us.